Welcome back to some professional StarCraft to a best of 3 Protoss versus Terran for the ESL Open Cup. It's been a little while since I've had the pleasure of introducing this Protoss player, the South Korean Classic. Well known for his heavy tech plays, hasn't had as much success as of late, but he's been grinding out these smaller tournaments, though not quite as adamantly as the Shopify player on the other side. Now, I know he's featured here time and time again, but that's because he keeps showing up for all these tournaments and doing well. The amount of games that feature this player is possibly higher than any other, at least in the last month or two. So, whether you love him or you love him even more, let me introduce to you ByuN. His fast and loose style and his micro skills getting him far enough to be facing off. This is actually the North American ESL Cup. Of course, they're not region locked. You just got to wake up either late or early. Actually, I think the North American ESL Cup starts at about 8 a.m. Korean time. So don't say these gamers are not putting in the work. The only time I was up at 8 a.m. For StarCraft 2 was to watch GSL for, like the opposite reason. Been doing that for a while. Okay, kind of just stuck for me, since I'm usually up all night. But I'm sure these gamers get a full night of sleep. They get up, they eat some breakfast, probably some raw eggs or something. They get a quick workout in, post it on TikTok and Instagram, rack up thousands of likes, then they settle down to play some StarCraft 2. I'm sure that's exactly how it goes for all of them before they sign up to beat up the North Americans and win the NA Open Cup. Well, enough of the daily routine, and on to the in-game routine of the Reaper, trying to dodge the Adept. Not quite fun, that Classic, just tagging it with the Adept and not letting it get away. You're not trying to get fancy. Sometimes ByuN is able to juke out players who try to get closer, but not this time. Did he spot the Stargate? It's actually at the natural, so if the Reaper does get into the main, which it won't, by the way, there is... Wow, he really... he's from the preparatory... Actually, we're going to have to... Jimmy, look that up! Classic's got a new team, which I probably should have mentioned getting into this. But will ByuN go for the little Reaper pop over the top? If anyone was going to. Prep, it's literally just Prep Esports. It's called Prep Esports. And the current players include Classic. Okay. Puzzle. That is a name I haven't heard in a while. Well, so Classic is there. That's not exactly how the little grenade thing is supposed to work. So if you throw the grenade at the feet of your Reaper, you tap your toes together 3 times fast, and you get real lucky. You bounce over the top. There is a finesse to it. I'm not exactly sure how it works, because I could never seem to make it work. And based on the fact ByuN just completely whiffed it, I'm not convinced many of these pro players know exactly how it works either. But ByuN back at home has double Widow Mine. Stargate has yet to be revealed. The Phoenixes are being held close to the chest here for Classic, holding on to those units so that way, ideally, when they're revealed, it's devastating to ByuN's game plan. Now, Widow Mines are always dangerous. All it takes is a split second of inattentiveness or too much attentiveness, and your entire mineral line can be devastated. Now, the Phoenixes find the Reaper, which gives ByuN the information. Wow. ByuN not even gonna bother. Not gonna show the mines. This is an interesting call here. He's expecting the Phoenixes. Wow, okay. ByuN getting real fancy here. He's expecting to bait the Phoenixes over. Now, Classic, with the ultimate mind game, has kind of just, gone straight across the map and not even bothered looking for the mine drop. He doesn't know for sure it even exists, and now he's just going to do some damage at home. Those mines definitely could help in shutting this down, but he sees the Phoenixes are across the map, so ByuN drops the mines in. Classic! No! A classic mistake. 10 probes. All that fancy footwork, or, well, anti-footwork by the Phoenixes is negated by 2 Widow Mines, slamming the point home. 10 probes. And counting, because those mines aren't dead. They got picked up. The Phoenix has got to come back raving into the main. It looks like it's going to get enough energy for another auto turret as well, just to make things more difficult. The Widow Mines will burrow. Is there energy? Oh, no! Well, actually fired onto the Immortal there, so it could have been worse, but not much so. And in typical Classic fashion, he has 2 gates, 3 Nexi, a Stargate, and a Robotics Bay for his Robo. So, Classic has sprinted up the tech tree and is only now branching out. ByuN got more damage than he ever should have with that Widow Mine drop, but less damage, I guess, than he could have. But that is about as good as it's going to get. Also, the foresight, by the way, for ByuN not to just send him in, just hoping the Phoenix are out of position, but instead waiting, confirming they're on the other side of the map, even if it means he loses some of his own SCVs. The fact he was losing SCVs all but guaranteed Classic will be looking the wrong direction. And now ByuN coming across the map. He's got the triple threat in production. Stim, combat shield, +1 infantry weapons. All the things you need for maximum strength as early as possible. And right now, Classic, I believe he just finished his first Colossus, which is going to be invaluable in dealing with these yet-to-be combat-shielded Marines. So the Reaper wall works both ways, as Classic now forced to defend it. The units on the low ground, Phoenixes come back, and not even all the Marines are going to make it out of the medevac. A handful of Marines do. The Colossus trying to step 2. I would say losing a couple more probes is annoying, but Classic with a definite win there. ByuN not ready for the speed of the Colossus. A second Stargate on the way. And a fleet beacon. Which, wow, okay, a bold call. We'll see if it works out. Another drop being sent out by ByuN. He picks up. He's going to regret this one, I think. Yeah, this is just compounding insult to injury here. The only thing ByuN has going for him is the lack of gateways. There's only 2 gateways. Classic is just going straight to Fleet Beacon. Which, yeah, we are on Moondance. He is confident in his position, but you can't, like... Can you get away with this? Is this legal? It's mostly Marauders for ByuN. He loves really countering with those bio units whenever possible. Trying to bait out some force fields. A lot of energy on the sentries. Force fields will cut off the repairs. A couple Marauders in front slurps them up. Gets a few of the units out of the bunker. Whoa, doesn't quite nail it. Phoenix is looking for more. There's very limited anti-air here. There's like 2 or 3. There's only 1 Marine! I don't think, well, there's a Viking now to help ward this away. The Colossi zoning as well. ByuN forced to transfer his SCVs to the back. Classic during all this, just holding the front door, looking in and reaching in the window, grabbing some SCVs. Oh, it's so annoying to deal with. Phoenix is still finding more. Classic building carriers. So this is a very interesting split here. A lot of players would try to press the issue, get the killing blow, or go for another level of ground tech. But Classic has completely skipped the whole part where you're supposed to build gateways. He's got double star. He only has 2 gateways. Well, we'll see. The downside is the same counter to Colossi, Vikings, is your best counter to carriers. Of course, ByuN is a little more focused on the tanks and the Marauders here, and he has no idea about that Fleet Beacon. He has no idea the carrier count is growing like this, though he might be a little suspicious at the lack of ground units. Classic has a comfortable 4th base, though not that many probes with which to use it. He's only at 67, adding 4 at a time now. But he was so focused on building up the units and the infrastructure that his economy isn't going to be incredible compared to ByuN. Yeah, with mules factored in, marginal income lead. despite that extra base for now. ByuN is forced to retreat. At this point, you build the best army you can before you start mining out of your main. Armory is just now being added. Upgrades not as important in this matchup. There's just so much devastating splash damage and potential hard counters. Whether it's disruptors, whether it's storm, whether it's EMP, there's a lot of things that upgrades just kind of are ignored with all that spell damage. Of course, carriers, a pretty important... If the carriers don't have at least some attack upgrades, the armor really stacks up. Oh, well, he's getting +2 air. Wow. He already has +2 air? Oh my, this is kind of a disgusting tech... Oh, that's not a happy scan. That's not a happy... ByuN's like, oh my god, what? Oh, not again. I'm sure he's played Classic dozens of times. It is one of those maps. With that pocket base, you can really tech up. He's going to be very confident in taking this forward base. Makes it an orbital, because, like, is a planetary going to help you that much against the carriers? No, a little more economy, and the ability to lift may be the only thing that helps you escape. The Observer spots ByuN moving out. So, this dangerous, but somewhat brittle army from Classic is moving out. Brittle in the sense that a few EMPs and missed disruptor hits, and the bio army will just roll it. But the carriers have arrived. And the battle will be joined 12 minutes in. Disruptor shots fired. Targeted down. ByuN dispatching them quickly. The Marauders are closing the distance. EMPs onto the carriers. The Marines just gunned down. The Interceptors are gone. The carriers are dead weight. Expensive paperweights right now. And the Vikings might have their pick of it. ByuN chooses EMP plus standing his ground. And Classic is beaten back. He's still at 200 supply, though. A lot of that is invested into the carriers. He needs those interceptors to be rebuilt. ByuN is knocked down under 150. So, not a victory for ByuN, but definitely he doesn't lose the game. It looked dangerous, but the target fire on the disruptors, second to none. The Vikings doing their dance of patrol. The sensor tower gonna help out. Seeing a lot more sensor towers lately. I'm loving it. ByuN's still a little stingy with it, though. 2 more Stargates. Classic says the issue was not that the carriers ran out of interceptors, it was that there weren't enough carriers. +2 ship weapons, or air weapons, will be finishing up relatively soon. 10-15 more seconds. +2 ground for ByuN, though. Means those ghosts and Marines gonna have some more going on. The Vikings cutting back. 2 volleys. Kill a carrier. More carriers are sidling in. The Vikings still chasing. Stalkers trying to zone. The Ghost getting involved. EMP hits all the Stalkers. Another carrier taken down. Immaculate Viking micro so far from ByuN. But the critical mass is starting to dip. The interceptor count is shaved down dramatically with each of these fights, though. While ByuN has to rebuild the Vikings, Classic, there's no way to speed up the interceptor build time. You just have to wait it out. About 8 seconds apiece means a full minute to refill the carriers. A lot of downtime there. And interceptors are not free. 15 minerals apiece. So far, ByuN has lost marginally more. Charge lots. In a war prism, one of the most dangerous options. ByuN has plenty of turrets in order to slow this down. A little more showing up. Scanning, scared that Classic is going to use his momentary vulnerability to strike, but ByuN going to be, I guess, happy to see that's not the case. Slaps a nuke into the Ghost Academy. Wow. The Vikings doing a great job thus far. The carriers, he's killing his own Stalkers in order to add Tempests and Disruptors. Classic, still not a big fan of gateway units. They are a placeholder for something better. The Venn diagram of sensor tower. You know what? He heard me. I'm sorry for influencing the game, but ByuN's like, oh, which one? Sensor towers? I'll give you sensor towers. Now, he has quite the amount of coverage. Yeah, I mean, yeah. There you go. Building a spread of turrets. Don't want to get his own units bottled up too much by him. And how many carriers is there? 11 carriers! Killing his own stalkers. Trying to get some more Tempest in there. Straight up Sky Toss. Could very well be looking to both expand and build a forward operating battery base. A FOB, if you would. As shield battery, something to help deal with the EMPs. Wow, this army is... +1 ship weapons is done. A nuclear missile on the 4th. Does Classic realize? He's going for the mineral line. It might actually hit. Classic is busy fighting ByuN. Took the fight. 19 probes, a real nuke. 19 probes brings Classic to 58. Not game-ending damage, but certainly not what... that throws off the whole rhythm here. And now the nukes are a threat. The Ghost is still fighting some things here. He's actually microing it a bit. Gonna find an angle on the back line. And Classic's probe count is income. Well, the battery push. Well, this is his counter to the EMP. Of course, the batteries themselves can get EMP'd, but if he's careful, it'll cost at least some extra. Gonna want to have some cannons, maybe, for extra detection. Can't believe the nuke actually found a base there. Classic's army supply is massive. In fact, he's just killing his own stuff. I'm not even sure that one was intentional. He wants an Oracle. Something to deal with these ghosts. God, the carriers are all stacked up. The EMP queued up. Oh, that one lands across the bow. Oh my god, the Vikings! A single volley of those Lancer torpedoes and just knocking the carriers out of the sky. The shield batteries don't even have a chance to reshield them. There's no splash damage here. The Tempests are adding in. A lot of carriers. Well, not a lot of carriers. There's one carrier left. ByuN is just knocking them out of the sky. Just micro, bro. Anyone who says dealing with late game toss is hard is just suffering from severe skill issues. And that's what we see here. The EMPs landed on top of the batteries. The nukes are launching again. Okay, Classic, you gotta... Actually, I don't even think that's gonna hit the mineral line, really. He notices it. Kind of goes off to a bit of an odd angle. We'll lose 3 probes. But Classic is quickly running out of momentum. The Viking... You can't just lose 10k. He's lost 13 carriers. You can't, like... You cannot replace those. He's gonna try. He's building 5 at a time. He's like, watch me. He doesn't have unlimited minerals. ByuN actually feels like maybe he can fight. Disruptor's caught. Killed. The Vikings, EMP. Disruptor shot. Great last second split to minimize damage. Another fadeaway shot. Vikings don't quite find the angle. That Colossus, though, looking dicey. Another Disruptor. Another one. Target fire. Gets both. More carriers show up to the party. If ever ByuN is under a critical mass of units, the carriers would just run the table, though. That's what Classic is trying to achieve. ByuN realizes it pulls back to the turrets. While they're not particularly great, they do add some damage, and anything helps here. EMPs. Everything, well, the interceptor count dropping single digits. Never a great sign. The carriers are empty, and ByuN just stimming underneath and firing up. ByuN brings down a capital ships in quite a punctuation mark ending. I don't know, like Classic, true to form, heavy tech, really leans in, just straight. He skipped gateway units. He did not even, like, he actively killed his own gateway units to get that arm. He was committed to the carriers, the Colossi, the Tempests. And those, even early mid-game, the Marines, the Ghost, the Vikings, they did a number on him. Like, you're playing ByuN. This isn't ladder. I'm sure that's the kind of build that got a 90% win rate against anyone who isn't ByuN or Maru. That is an abusive, an incredibly, like, let's not belittle ByuN's play there. That is not an easy army to deal with. There are every disruptor, every carrier attack, you're a half a second of miss micro away from losing that critical mass of Vikings, losing too many ghosts, losing just enough Marines. But ByuN chose his battles, and it felt like Classic was playing into his hand with it. I like the idea, but didn't really pan out for him. Data C, though, another defensive map for Game 2, another later game opportunity. I'm not surprised. I'd be interested in knowing which maps Classic vetoed, as you get a lot of vetoes in best of 3. But it does appear we will not be playing Stargazer or... I mean, we still have Game 3, potentially. But I would be surprised to see a Waterfall or a Stargazer. Probably like a Cosmic Sapphire would make it through, I'd imagine. ByuN doesn't seem intimidated. I liked... He was completely in the dark about the carriers, about the fleet beacon, even about the original Stargate, but he just took it in stride. He saw the Phoenixes, he immediately dropped out the mines and waited for an opportunity. He saw the carriers, and he started setting up defensive positions. Notice how he set up the turrets, though. You don't want to set up like a wall, because then you're essentially potentially pinning your own units up against it. And that's where disruptors thrive. He staggered the turrets like they were just... Almost felt like a campaign mission there. In many cases, you don't want to do that. But against carriers, in order to thin out the interceptors, like, essentially the turrets are a interceptor strainer. They thin them out. They make it a little easier to deal with. They draw some aggro. But overall, they're not the be-all, end-all. Static defense in general. Many of the Meta League should get this through their head. Static defense is to buy time and space for your units to get the damage done. There is no, not even upgraded turrets, shielded cannons. They are not the end game option in 95% of cases. Occasionally you can have enough in the right spot, but they're there to buy you the right amount of time and space for your units to show up and get the damage done, defend, attack, whatever. Well, let's see what it's going to be this game. We had a passive start. And by passive, I mean 1 Rax expand into the 1-1-1. I believe that was a quicker factory, but he's got the Scoutian. Still looking for a better name for that. I'm taking suggestions, by the way. Like, subscribe, and leave me a suggestion for the name of the Scouting Hellion here. I'm not even going to put anything out there. I had a few pop into my head, and I want to hear what people think. These are the important things, all right? You got to have some emotional connection. How have we not named the Scouting? It feels like the Reaper's a little cliche. But the Hellion is a bit more... you don't see it every game. It's like 20% or so. But it's always... Oh my god. Oh my. Oh. Gonna need new tires after that one. My god. ByuN manages to make everything look dramatic. It's going to be Stargate again. Classic. ByuN coming across the map with a medevac nearly full of Marines. 7 out of 8. He's got a Cyclone, more Marines rallied out of the reactor. Viking in production. The Adept shows up, finds the Hellion, but the Marines find the Adept. It goes down. He's going to try to abuse the Reaper wall here. Spots the Phoenixes, but with high ground vision and the fact a Cyclone is coming up. This is a dicey situation for both sides. Classic loses 1 Adept. You can't really fight without all your army together. Same goes for both. Just takes down a gateway. Incredibly annoying at this stage. That may be his only gate. Yeah, Classic has no gateways now. He's not a huge gateway fan, as we've already seen. The only gates he likes have stars in them. Well, double Cyclone. I'm kind of like putting together this. Double Cyclone, Immortal. Barrier is used. He's still locked on to the Immortal here. Shield Battery Overcharge not being used. Oh no, he lost the Immortal! It's a disaster for Classic. Oh, wow, that was super important. He really needed... If that Overcharge was half a second quicker, that Immortal would have been okay. Oh, that is not good. Another Immortal pops out, and that may save him for long enough. You never want to be pulling probes out here. In fact, a lot of his units are stuck behind. Oh, no! A Classic, a day late and a Shield Battery Overcharge short. Yeah, we'll clean it up. Oh, he really needed that Immortal to stay alive. Puns, I guess, somewhat intended. A bit of a uncharacteristic and unforced error in that, but ByuN makes the most of it. He takes a worker lead. He's got a quicker base on the way. He's adding turrets on. The Phoenixes will find some damage. But, ooh, not a great start here for the Protoss. Classic sprinting into Colossi yet again. Oh, underneath, ByuN finds a Phoenix. Delays the third. Okay, it's gonna help. Does he even have enough energy for a lift? Brings up another one. Yep. You know, that's incredibly annoying. It's okay, now it's really starting to add up. I don't know if he has another lift. He's out of energy, unfortunately. Tries to delay it again. ByuN's choice of third base positioning, coming back to bite him a bit. ByuN picks up. And he heads westward. I'm not sure if the Phoenixes spotted it. He may have to do a bit of a layover outside of the main. Phoenixes, they did spot this. He's on the chase. ByuN dropping out. Manages to unload everything. The Colossi moving up to support the Phoenixes and potentially burn away the Marines. Gets one of the medevacs, but it'll cost him a Phoenix. Gets one, picking up whatever he can. Gets another Phoenix. ByuN turning before the Colossi can close the distance. The Colossus, and Marauders in. That's just not that many units here for Classic. He doesn't have the gateway meat. He isn't able to buffer. The Colossus is under fire from the Marauders. The Widowmines are at point-blank range. One of them connects in Classic. Oh. It feels like he's trying to thread the needle here. But there are no gaps. ByuN is filling them in with bio. He doesn't have enough to protect the Colossi. The Phoenixes are not cutting it. The gateway unit count is not there. That's usually you have the Stalkers, Sentries, maybe charge lots, something. But his units just thin out, and the Colossi are easily knocked down. Phoenixes targeted away. ByuN in a comfortable position. He's got ghosts in production. He's already got enhanced shockwaves halfway done. At 9 minutes into the match, 65 SCVs. He's sitting comfortably on 3 bases. Oh, Classic. I don't know. ByuN just looking a lot more comfortable in this series so far. Classic, it's good to see Classic sticking to his style. I don't think the problem is necessarily with the style, it's with the execution so far. Against ByuN, you can't leave these openings. You can't make these mistakes. You can't lose these key units. It's not over by any means. Classic still has an incredibly dangerous army. Phoenix Colossus covers every part of the game, as long as you take the right fights. There is no shield battery at the third. ByuN picks up. Whoa, where are you going with those? ByuN picks up and unloads in a precarious position. That Widowmine connects, gets some damage. No armor yet, though. Okay. He is desperate. He's desperate to go to the main. Oh my god. Jimmy, can we get the card up again? I don't... No matter what, ByuN will pick up. He can't help it. It's a compulsion. At least once per series, he will doom drop the main. Does he need to? I don't know. Is it worth it? Widowmines will connect, but he's up against Phoenix Colossus. So with a recall, there's a lot of options to deal with this. Phoenix Colossus has, with that Phoenix anti-air, has a lot more mobile response to the drops. Its main weakness is getting caught by a large army. ByuN manages to extract most of the units and leaves a couple mines in the main, which are going to be incredibly annoying. And he picked... Oh, come on, ByuN. He's going to find that a zealot has spotted this the whole time. Boosin says, I know you're there. Well, you didn't know he was there when you picked up. You did check, but... God, the mines... The Phoenixes are spotted by the mines here. He sees that the army is out of position. He's threatening that drop to the north with the attack to the south. There's no shield batteries at the 3rd or the 4th for Classic. They're not that expensive, but it appears he's desperate for whatever he can get. The Nexus just evaporates, as does the Medivacs, chased by Phoenixes. And the main attack is heading in, so ByuN does lose a lot there, but another Nexus under attack. A Disruptor shot actually eats up a chunk of units. ByuN picks up and goes to the main. The Colossi are going to step through the Reaper jump location. Bit of an odd interaction, but helpful for Classic here. EMP means that no more pickups and no more shields for those Phoenixes. Lose one more medevac, not quite. ByuN getting what he can. He manages to pick up the 4th Nexus. Shaves off a couple more Phoenixes. Still a dangerous army for anything that doesn't have overwhelming splash damage. They got Ghosts, plenty of Marauders. Those Phoenixes can't do anything. Oh, another EMP. Yeah, Phoenix is quite flimsy without their shields. Especially without energy. Can't even do anything against those ground units. Yeah, getting chased. Classic has been led by the nose into a planetary. Thing is, though, is there even enough to defend it? Classic's army supply is similar. +2 infantry weapons just now finishing, though. Oh, the supply depots. Actually might help Classic a little bit as those Disruptor shots land, but the EMP landed across the board. The Archons have no shields, or very little. ByuN with a stalwart defense here. Disruptor's gonna try to crack it open. Fires a shot through, gets a chunk, not enough. Planetary flank, not a great sign. The EMP is just more than enough. Gotta be careful with that Warp Prism. Juggling a Colossus in and out. Classic feels like he's treading water, but barely not succeeding. Looks like he's going to press in towards the 3rd next. The supply depots to zone out just as shoe toys for charge lots and Colossi. Disruptor shot. Did something. Another shot finds some Marauders. Another one fired off in the center. Airball. ByuN throws another army out there, just staying mobile. Light on his feet. Whereas Classic has to drag around these fragile and cumbersome units. Colossi, Archons, really kind of need each other at this stage of the game. But not easy to move around. Especially compared to ByuN. Oh no, the Prism! Prism! Gone. EMP plus a handful of Vikings. Oh my god, just the control here from ByuN. Dodging shots, EMPs land, Viking stutter. Oh my god. ByuN looks like he's smurfing in the ESL Pro Tour playoffs. It just, like, Classic is nearly maxed out with nowhere to go. Another Colossus picked up. Another Colossus isolated. Another base targeted. He's pulling them apart right now. Yeah, some army going to be taken down, but the Nexus is vulnerable. The main base, the Nexus is vulnerable. A half dozen shots or less. It looks like he might just go for it. He notices the Nexus is almost dead. A Colossus maybe for free as well. The Disruptor's looking for an angle. Another Colossus could be vulnerable in the center. Gets the Nexus in the main. The Vikings kind of in the middle of nowhere, but we'll find a Colossus, so why not? Nexus down. The 4th base has no shields. The Vikings are kind of left behind. Well, I guess you don't really need Vikings at this stage, but there's no reason to just lose them if you don't have to. The main base, units are filing back in. He's just going to drop in the evacuated Nexus location. Oh, eviscerated Nexus, sorry. The Disruptor's Classic actually has more supply. How does it feel like he's so impotent? He can't do anything. ByuN is running him around in circles. He's tearing him apart. Disruptor volley. The supply depots are zoning it out. Classic. He has to find a fight somewhere. He's running out of army. No, he's not, though. It's so weird. Broadside fired. Disruptors into the planetary. The SCVs hold. The boys managed to evade the unleashed explosions. Looks a Viking Ghost against the Disruptor broadside so far. But ByuN... Classic is getting fed up. He's clearly frustrated with the overlapping Liberators, the supply depots. Like, he doesn't even really need to fight here, but it feels like he's... Yeah, okay, this time he gets it. This time, but the flank! Target fire on the Raptors! He gets so many all but 2. Picks up and gets out with whatever's left. ByuN still manages to take a winning fight. Getting the Disruptors has gutted Classic's army now. Without them, it's going to be nearly impossible to break these Liberator locations. He has nothing to force the bio away. It's not like the Blinkstalkers are going to do it. They're going to try. Disruptor shots through the Liberation zones. Is it enough? Not even close. The Marauders make all the difference here. Without the Ruptors, the Medivacs 5-6 Marauders against 12 Stalkers. I feel sorry for the Stalkers. What a lopsided fight. Without the splash damage, they have no chance of washing away these Terran units. The Medivacs are healing. Classic had 170, 180 to the same amount of supply. He had more army. But that's ByuN's army. And there's no amount of supply, it seems, that's gonna fight it. Wow, this series more one-sided than a Mobius strip in the late game. Despite Classic's incredibly strong Protoss armies, I think we are just seeing the disparity between the very best Terrans and the rest of us mortals. ByuN in amazing form there. I cannot stress how hard it is to fight like that. Just constantly multi-pronged pressure, EMP, Vikings separately from the bio army, splitting and dropping and stutter-stepping while still actually firing, because you can't just run away, you still need to do damage. Oh, he made it look like he was just beating on Classic like another ladder opponent, and maybe grinding out all these ESL Cups at 8 a.m. or whenever is paying off, but wow, ByuN's in form. And wow, he made Classic look pretty bad in that series. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was something for you. And I hope you check out this video as well. That'd be awesome if you could check it out. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, I guess. I'll be back to streaming next week if you're watching this. And if you're watching this in 2025 because you want to see nostalgically the Stormgate caster with millions of subs when he used to do this old dead game. Well, thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Stay chill.